I don't know about you, but I love ducks. They're just so amusing, and I've always loved them. Did you know there's so many different kinds of domestic duck? Well, we have several of them right here. Some of the heritage breeds at Moss Mountain Farm. And I'd like to walk you through the pens and introduce you to each of these beautiful breeds and tell you a little bit about the story of each one of them. They're fascinating. Before we go any further, I'd like to thank our sponsors. The garden tours are made possible by Gilbert H. Wild & Son, who've been growing beautiful perennials since 1885. Ralston Family Farms, a farm family producing delicious rice for your table. First Community Bank, whose heart is in the community, as well as Sunpatiens, SuperCal Petunias, and Dragon's Breath Celosia, and Crystal Bridges, Museum of American Art. Check out my website to learn more about the brands we love. Here at Moss Mountain Farm, the conservation of poultry genetics is one of the highlights of a visit here. You get to see over 50 different breeds or varieties of heritage poultry. Today we're focused on ducks. They're a lot of fun, very amusing, and very beautiful. So we're starting here with this pen of Cayugas. Cayugas are an American breed. They are absolutely stunning, and you can see this drake, the color of the plumage. They're black, but they really are green. The sheen on them is purpley green depending on how the light hits them. Now you can see there's a flock of Cayugas behind me, and with most ducks, the females are the ones that quack. You can hear them quacking. This is a drake, and he won't make much noise. But one of the ways to tell a drake is the drake always has a curly tail. You can see here. And you'll see this throughout all the ducks I'm going to show you here today. We have 6 different types of ducks here, and this one is one of the most striking to our visitors because of the sheer color. Just look at the sheer color in this wing, purple to green, really quite extraordinary. Now, this is a landrace breed developed in the Northeast. The claim is they came from Dutchess County, New York. They are very, very cold tolerant. They will weigh out 7 to 8 pounds, and they'll lay about 150 eggs. There's a lot of pigment in the genetics of this bird, and it even comes through in the eggs. The eggs can be kind of a dark green or buff color, but on the green side. And every part of this bird is black. The bill is black, the eyes are black, feet, legs, toenails, black, and then of course all the plumage on them is black. So this is a Cayuga. You can see we've got a small flock here. It's the females making all the noise, and here we go. He's talking just a little bit. What do you say, fella? They're a great home flock bird. We recommend them if somebody wants to keep a small flock of them. With all of our waterfowl, and for that matter, all of our poultry, they get locked up at night. So one has to be very careful about predators. Raccoons, possums, certainly fox, and coyotes are a terrible threat to these beautiful birds. All right, so we're going to leave the Cayugas, we're going to leave Dutchess County, New York, and we're going to go to India. And I want to show you our Indian runners. Okay, fella, there we go. Back to the clock. A happy return. All right, let's shift over here. Okay, so this particular breed is one of my all-time favorites. They're probably the most comic, just to watch. They've been described as wine bottles on legs, bowling pins on legs. They're extremely vertical. The runner comes from India, and it's considered a light duck. They're very tall and thin, as you can see, and they're best known for their egg production. These are white runners, obviously, and they come in a lot of different colors. There's fawn, and there's those that look like mallards, and they're buff-colored ones and black ones. And They're a great bird to have around and amusing to watch, but they're not going to be the calmest and tamest. In fact, these are the most nervous. They're little nervous Nellies, and this is a little female here. And you can see she doesn't have a curl on her tail back here. There's no curl like we saw with the drake. And these are fairly prolific egg layers. I know you're not comfortable here, me holding you, but we want our friends out there to see how beautiful you are. Yes. Ducks will live a long time, up to 7 or 8 years. I've even had one drake for almost 10 years. And but these are very beautiful. They're characterized by having very orange bills. They have blue eyes and very orange feet. They don't weigh very much at all, only about 2 to 4 pounds. But they are very good egg layers. They're not particularly good as setters. And what this means is they don't go broody or sit on their own eggs. And so we get other ducks to hatch their eggs, or we hatch them in the incubator. And I found that sort of stroking them under their chin like that just kind of calms them down a little bit. But they're a wonderful duck to have around, and again, very amusing. Love to know what you think about these ducks and rank the ones you like the best and tell me why. It's always fun to get feedback from you. So if you've followed us over the years, you know Walter is kind of the head of our duck clan. All the ducks, really. He's the best known. And Walter's over there, and this is a member of Walter's harem. And so he's right over here behind me. You ready to go back to Walter? Okay, here we go. There you go. Okay, there we go. Okay. She's happy back with her tribe. Okay, so let's move from India and we'll go to Germany and take a look at some beautiful German ducks. So here we are with the Saxony, a great old German duck. And this one is really quite beautiful, I think. I love the gray heads on the males. The females are equally beautiful with this bluish gray band on the wing, which is really, I think, very striking. They're characterized by having very yellow bills. The females will have a little bit oranger bill. The drakes can have a little bit more yellow or greenish bill. They have orange feet. And I love the females because they're wearing a little bit of eye makeup on their eyes. You can see there's some little stripes of darker feathers around their eyes. And they have a beautiful sort of buff color that blends in this time of year when the grass is not green and kind of buff colored. They blend in very well. These are indeed large ducks, and what we're doing here at Moss Mountain Farm is trying to continue to improve their size, their type, which means what their body shape looks like, and also their color, to get their color. And so we like to follow the standard of perfection from the American Poultry Association, the APA. That's the book that APA licensed judges use when they're judging these birds. These are considered to be on the endangered list, the Saxonies. Again, it's a conservation effort here at Moss Mountain Farm to continue keeping these beautiful ducks going. They were once, like all of these birds, a part of our food system. And it's a shame that they're not any longer. But we do what we can to conserve the genetics and help farmers out in getting a start of some of these wonderful old breeds. The females are markedly different in their color than the males, just as you see in the wild type, the mallards. The mallard really is sort of the original genetic form for most European domestic ducks. And you'll see that no better than when we go to France and we have a look at the Rouen or Rouen of France, which is the #1 meat duck there. As you can see, Rouens look very much like mallards, just big, giant mallards. They're particularly known for their delicious flesh. It's the number one duck in France, the preferred duck, I should say. And they're characterized, the exhibition type ruins have very low keels, which they almost look like they drag the ground. The tops of the backs are supposed to be slightly arched. They call that roach back. They're supposed to have a curved back. The males look very much like a wild mallard. The color pattern is exactly the same as you see with the females, the ducks. They have an orangish yellow bill, the same color feet, very orange. And you'll see with the drakes, as we've been seeing with all these duck drakes, they have the curl on the tail. Rouens are considered a heavy meat breed, so they're going to be one of the heaviest breeds and are in commercial production. But these large exhibition fowl are the ones that are the more endangered. And we need more people actually raising good, high-quality Rouens, particularly with the good markings on them and the proper weights. Now we've shifted to England, and this is the sort of prize duck of England for the meat market, just as the Rouen is of France. They're a large duck, and if you could hold this big boy, you would know why they're called a large duck. What's characteristic of the Aylesbury, which by the way is the oldest conservation project here at Moss Mountain Farm. We've kept Aylesbury's here for almost 15 years, trying to improve their size, improve their type, and you can see the bill is sort of slight fleshy pink color, which is characteristic of them. They have blue eyes and very bright orange feet. This is a drake, so he's not going to quack. He's going to make a little soft sort of sound, but this will calm them down just a little bit. But this bird is probably going to weigh about 9 to 10 pounds, which is what we want. Aylesbury's were walked to market in the 18th century into the London market before the trains came along, and then they were shipped by train. But they would walk them through each morning. They would run them out of pens, walk them across some black pitch or tar, and onto sawdust, which would make little soles on the bottom of their feet so they could walk to market. So there are lots of really interesting stories about these beautiful ducks. If you love Beatrix Potter and some of her characters, Miss Jemima Puddle Duck was actually an Aylesbury. So for those who love children's stories, this was the duck of choice for Beatrix Potter. All right, we have one more stop to make in England to see a more recently created bird. The Aylesbury goes way back into history, and this next breed is one that came out of the early 20th century. Okay, here we go, big boy. Okay, there we go. Back to the flock. Let me introduce you to the Appleyards. They were developed by Reginald Appleyard in England. And just look at the gorgeous plumage on this female. She's a big girl, and she's considered a large duck. Ducks are divided into light, which we saw in the form of the runners, medium, which we saw with the Cayugas, and then large, which we saw with the Aylesburys, the Rouens, and certainly the Saxonies, and now these Appleyards. I love the color on the female. They're called silver Appleyards because they have a beautiful sheen to them, both the ducks and the drakes. But they're characterized by having very orange bills, and look at those really bright orange feet. I wish you could just feel the weight on this girl. Again, we're working on size and pattern, and it's important that they have these lovely stripes on their faces like that. She's a beautiful, beautiful duck. So it's one that is very much in need of conservation. Probably the two rarest breeds or three rarest breeds we have here are the Aylesburys, the Saxonies, and these Appleyards. So if you're interested in conservation projects with these ducks, one of the best ways to learn about them is to join some of the poultry clubs that you can find on Facebook, and you'll find good breeders of them, hopefully around, and get a flock started. So that covers all the breeds that we have here at Moss Mountain Farm presently. I hope you've been inspired by some of these beautiful heritage ducks. If you'd like to know more about them, you go to my website, pallensmith.com, and check out our Heritage Poultry Conservancy, which is heritagepoultry.org, and you can learn more about these wonderful breeds. I also send out a newsletter every Friday, so make sure you subscribe and we'll keep you posted on all the things going on here at Moss Mountain Farm. All right, until then, very good. All right, go. There you go, Henrietta. She's going back to her friends.